This week on The Digital Coffee, what is Byte? And should we even care? Instagram is revealing some of the secrets behind the algorithm, and Facebook has finally launched its Clear History tool. What does that mean for marketers? All that and more after this. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to The Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing and social media news for small business. My name is Amanda Webb, and thank you for joining me. Let's move on to our first topic for this week, which is Byte. What is Byte? Over the past week or so, the term Byte, B-Y-T-E, has exploded on Twitter. I could not ignore it. Byte is a new social network and everyone was jumping on board. But new social networks pop up almost every week. What was different about this one? Well, I don't know if you remember Vine. Vine was a 6-second video tool where you could actually create a video that was 6 seconds long. It would loop, and you could create it all within camera. You would edit within camera. It was really simple to create. It launched people that they called Vine stars, so people became famous, much as TikTok stars become famous now. And it was huge for a while, and then it was bought by Twitter. And eventually Twitter got rid of it. It was a sad day. What's this got to do with Byte? Well, it's from the people who made Vine have now launched Byte. And I've got a feeling they're not going to sell it to Twitter this time. So let me show you how it works. The first thing I noticed when I logged in was it's very TikTok-y in the interface. So you scroll up, the videos are vertical, and you scroll up to see them. You can like and comment on videos. Here's one I made earlier, just so that you get an idea of how it works. This is me making a cup of tea. My kettle is a state. These are the things you notice. So I ran out of time and I didn't have time to do it twice. I didn't want 2 cups of tea. But you can see I shot all that in the app itself for 6 seconds. What's missing from it that you do have on TikTok, and I think is part of TikTok's success, is you don't have filters and you don't have effects. So you can't create kind of the mad looking videos that we see on TikTok. But I think simplicity is everything. So I joined up. I wonder, will other people join up, or will this be one of the ones that parents say to their kids, hey, we don't like you using TikTok. Why don't you choose this Byte tool? And they'll be like, oh, Mum, that's so embarrassing. I want to do TikTok. But I do think it is great fun, definitely worth trying out. So that video I put up, immediately I put it up. I got a whole load of likes. I got a comment. I got followers straight away. So people are actively using it and actively looking for new videos. I don't know, is this a place you need to be for your business? I don't know if you should actually care about this, but it is interesting to see that there are companies sprouting out now that are trying to do the TikTok thing. And with so many issues around the privacy on TikTok, which I don't know if they're founded or not, I think this tool could work. Instagram have been answering questions about the algorithm. They've been telling us a little bit more about how it works, which is interesting because Instagram don't really do this. Where are they doing this? They're doing it on their creator account. So they have an Instagram account called @creator, and within stories mostly, although a little bit in the feed, they have been answering frequently asked questions from Instagram users, and most of those seem to relate to the algorithm. You'll see it if you go to their account, it's a highlight FAQ, but you'll also find a few in the feed. So what have they said? Things that don't affect the feed ranking. And I think for all of us as businesses, it's this first one that is going to be important, because people worry that if they switch to a business account or a creator account or a professional account on Instagram, that they will lose reach on their account. And this is, founded in our experience with Facebook. Facebook business pages don't get as much reach as personal accounts. So I know a lot of people have been worried about switching it over to one. I personally think you should switch to one because you have statistics and all sorts of other things. And Instagram are now saying that It doesn't matter if it's a business account or a personal account, it doesn't affect your reach. Second up, engagements that are important to the feed ranking. And this is another interesting one for me. They've said comments, likes, reshares and views. So all of those are important on whether they think your post is good and whether they're going to disseminate it to other people. Is that the right word? But what's missing here is saves. I would have always thought if people saved your post, that's a really strong signal to Facebook that they find it important and useful, and it is missing from this. So that's really interesting. When people asked which worked better on Instagram, photos or videos, they said they didn't favour either of them, but it was down to the individual user. So if a user watches a lot of videos, they'll deliver them a lot more video content. If a user looks more at photos, they'll deliver them more photo content. So although it's not algorithm based exactly, it is based on personal behaviour. So if people start watching more videos on Instagram in general in the world, then of course video posts are going to do better. If your audience watches more video than they do look at photos, then your videos are going to succeed as well, which is a really interesting statistic. And the final one I grabbed, although it's definitely worth looking through the whole thing, people are asking about pods. And pods are one of those really controversial things. If you don't know what a pod is when you get a group of people together who agree to like and comment on each other's posts on Instagram. So usually it would be a group of business owners, it might be run from a Facebook group, and with the idea that that will boost engagement. Now, I always have a problem with this because, firstly, the way the Instagram algorithm has worked, as they told us in the past, is it's a real personal experience. So what you get when you get a lot of people commenting on it in a pod is the people in the pod will see your post more, not necessarily your whole audience. Secondly, I always have a little problem with gaming the algorithm. I think you should chase the algorithm, not game it, because as they've said here, let me read their response before I get into more of my opinions. Authenticity and transparency are key to building sustainable engagement on Instagram. Trying to game the system may provide a short-term benefit, but it is not a recipe for success long-term. In addition, Instagram's feed ranking is powered by machine learning, which is constantly adapting to new patterns in data, so it can recognize inauthentic activity and make adjustments. And for me, that's a real problem with trying to hack the algorithm, because we've seen it happen on Google, we've seen it happen on Facebook, that as soon as we find one of these ways to game the system, the algorithm will close in on us and make changes to it. So pods, I've never been a fan. If you are a fan, you may reconsider it. Let's talk about our next story, which is the Facebook Clear History tool. Who's heard about this? I'm guessing because most of you I can see that are commenting, at least, I'm not sure who else is here, are marketers, that you have heard about this. And if you've been watching the show, I think this is like the third or fourth time we've talked about it, because Facebook was developing this for a long time. It was in reaction to the Cambridge Analytica thing and a few other things. They decided they wanted to get serious about privacy. So they were finally giving us the option to clear cookies, basically. What the Clear History Privacy tool does is it allows you to clear any data that Facebook has about the sites that you have visited. So, for example, if you visit my website, I have a pixel on my website that sends data back to Facebook saying this person, this Facebook user, has visited my website. It's really useful for marketers because then if you visited my website or visited a specific page on my website, I can retarget you. So if I see that you visited one of my sales pages and you didn't fill in the form, I can retarget you and say, hey, you know, are you still thinking about your digital marketing strategy? And this sort of advertising is hugely effective. It gets sales at a really low cost. But of course, Facebook have now all this data of all these websites we visited stored. You can now delete that, which means I will not be able to remarket to you, but it also means that Facebook doesn't hold that data on you. If you go into your app, if you go into your settings, it gives you the option to see your off-site activity on Facebook, and that is where you're going to see all the websites you've visited that have a pixel, and you will be able to choose to delete one of them, or you'll be able to choose to delete all of them. So 2 thoughts I have on this, but I'd love to know what you think about it as a person, as a human being, all those people out there that aren't marketers. This is probably important to some of them. I'm going to say that I think a lot of people that just log into Facebook, they're never going to bother going and clearing their history, but people who really care about the data that Facebook holds, this is really important. I think it's important to have this option there, to be honest. I'm not going to clear my history, no, but I do see why people would want to do it. I don't think a big mass of people are going to do it, because I think if you're on Facebook still, I think, you know, you have accepted a lot of what Facebook is doing with your privacy, but we'll see. The bad side is for us as marketers, because we are no longer going to be able to use that pixel to retarget our audiences. So anyone that's running ads, you are going to see a slight drop off on the success of retargeting ads. I don't think it's going to be huge, because like I say, I don't think many people are going to delete their history, but we've got to be aware that's going to happen. If I'm wrong and everyone deletes our history, the Facebook pixel is almost going to become obsolete. So what can we do then? Well, I think one of the scary side effects of this is that we will have to rely on Facebook more, because there are lots of custom audiences you can create within Facebook that are going to be able to retarget. So you can retarget people who've watched a video, you can retarget people who've engaged with your Facebook page, who've RSVP'd for an event, who've engaged with your Instagram account, who've watched a video on Instagram, and I'm sure they're going to roll out more of these features later. So if the pixel isn't as effective, we're going to have to rely heavily on these. Pair that with, we also know that Facebook are going to make shopping on Facebook and Instagram doable without a website. You're going to be able to do it all within the Facebook suite of tools. And this is going to have a massive knock-on effect, because that means you won't need to have a website, and Facebook will essentially own the internet. And that's what really scares me. This is the second week in a row that I've been scared about Facebook. So for all the marketers out there, do not abandon your websites. Keep your websites. Don't give Facebook control of your entire business. But you're going to have to recognize that there are a whole lot of audiences that aren't going to be able to retarget. Pinterest is embracing augmented reality, and it's doing it in a grown-up way, which doesn't surprise me. Pinterest is a grown-up network. Augmented reality, in case you're not sure what I'm talking about, you know when you go onto Snapchat and you can put like a funny face on you, or on Instagram stories you can put a funny face on you. That's augmented reality. It's seen your face and it's augmented it with something else, whether it's a big dog tongue or ears or just a bit of makeup. And that's what Pinterest is doing it, but they're doing, as I said, in a very grown-up way. I don't have this yet. A little bit annoyed with Pinterest, but they're starting with lipstick. Have you ever, girls or guys, had a problem choosing a shade of lipstick? I am a disaster. I tell you what, my boyfriend is very artistic. He works in art departments in the film business, so I always bring him out with me to choose my lipstick and to choose anything I'm going to wear, basically, because I'm a mess. I'm a mess, basically. So he chose this shade of lipstick when I was going to choose something else. But wouldn't it be nice if you could just try it on before you bought? And this is what Pinterest is doing. You can now go into Pinterest, share, and let me know if you have this, because I don't. Type in lipstick shades, and right at the top of the search results you'll get try it. And when you go to try it, you get to try on the shade of lipstick. This is what it looks like. So they partnered with a few makeup brands already to do this. So straight away she will know whether the red lipstick is the right choice, and she can scroll through and choose some different colours of lipstick as well. So I think that's kind of exciting. I would love, because my biggest problem, and I know this isn't going to be possible now, I would love if I could choose my colour of foundation this way, right? Because I like buying online, don't like going into shops. I would love if I could choose my colour of foundation. But of course the problem with that is that when you take a photo, whatever light it's in, they can't actually see what colour your skin tone is. So you're never going to get it right. But I'm imagining in the future there will be some way that we can do that. So a very grown up and a very sensible and a very marketing focused way of using augmented reality. Good job, Pinterest. Let's talk about our superpower of the week, which is from Google. It's called Google Dataset Search. One of the problems we have when we're trying to collect data to find out more about our target customers are there's so many resources to go to. So many resources. So there's the Central Statistics Office, there's various places that you can go and gather this data. So Google's Dataset tool is fixing this problem. It's a search engine to find the data that you need about your customers. So I'm going to go live on screen. This is Dataset search. So I can go in here. We all know I like cats, so I want to find out about cats in Ireland. And there we can see number of cats in Ireland 2010 to 2018. So if I was a pet food brand specific to cats, I could see what sort of population of cats there were in Ireland. So when I go here, it just tells me where it's getting the statistics from, what the date was. And if I click Explore Pet Market in Europe, it brings me through to the study where I can see, we'll just wait for that to load for a moment, 35,000, is it 35 or 350,000 cats in Ireland in 2018. And then I could download the PDF with that data in it as well. So I think this is like a one-stop shop for all that information that we may need about our customers. That's actually all the social media news this week. Try out that Dataset search. I do need to go and sign up for my free Statistica account so I can have a look at more information about those cats. Next week, this show will be recorded in advance because I am in Wales, but I'm hoping to record it in Wales and maybe even get a couple of special guests. Thank you for joining me. I will be back next week, same bat time, same bat place. Until then, goodbye.